Biosecurity risks in Queensland are expected to increase by fourfold in the coming years. Unfortunately, the current partnership investment model is not keeping up with the increased biosecurity risks and the complexity of the biosecurity environment in which we're now operating.
The Queensland sugarcane industry is highly exposed to biosecurity risks. We grow over 30 million tonnes of cane every year along 2,500 kilometres of Queensland coastline. We export over 85% of the sugar we produce, and those export markets need safety and security and biosecurity management. There is no greater challenge for Queensland than to protect agriculture from biosecurity risks. We really need an incoming Queensland government to not only prioritise agriculture and agricultural policy, but within that, prioritise biosecurity as a major policy issue across the entire government.
If I think of the one risk that really faces Queensland agriculture, it's biosecurity risks. We know diseases like foot and mouth are just on our doorstep. We've seen a few years ago the incursion of fall armyworm and the way that actually has really changed what farmers across Queensland can grow and how they grow it. These risks are real. For the good of all of Queensland agriculture, we need a really strong and effective biosecurity system.
Unfortunately, I'm standing here with a very recent example of a plant biosecurity issue that impacts all Queenslanders, being a virus that impacts tomatoes, chilies and capsicum. And just as a way of example, if it does get into Queensland, if it did get into Queensland, our whole industry would be at risk, and it would be at risk of losing over half of the production of time. I think it's really important that the everyday Queenslander actually understands that biosecurity really does impact them on a daily basis, and that the resourcing for biosecurity really needs to increase regardless of who takes government, because this is everyone's responsibility that impacts all of us.
Today we've come together with a united view, and that is that Queensland biosecurity needs a new approach. For Queensland councils, we don't want to be at the end of the line and have costs shifted onto councils and therefore onto communities. Biosecurity and keeping Queensland pest-free and free of exotic diseases costs money. And that's a cost that should be borne by all levels of government, not a cost shift onto councils, not a cost shift onto their communities.
Biosecurity is everyone's risk and it's also everyone's responsibility. So the investment, the dollars are really important, but equally important is the way government works with not only agriculture, but the whole economy, all industries and regional communities. We need a shared responsibility approach. We need to turn how we do biosecurity on its head so that we can position Queensland to be able to manage and mitigate the increasing risks that we are expecting ahead.